All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Back out here again on another hot July day. Sun's going down. It's time to get to work on this 37. Now, where we left off, I still had a little bit of welding to do on the driver's side wheel well. I've gone ahead and taken care of all that. Finished out the plug welds along the floor edge and filled in the area where the gas neck originally come through the floor into the inner wheel well, and it used to stick out the rear fender. So I went ahead and took care of that just in case we're still using that. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to do the gas neck in a similar fashion or not. Now what I have done is gone ahead and stripped the rear body panel to see what exactly is going on down there. Now I did find a couple places on the back side, which is actually the part of the floor pan where somebody has tried to patch over an area, and we've got a rust hole on the other side. So we've got two areas on the back side underneath there that need to be fixed. And once I got through stripping everything down, I did find one pretty bad area on the passenger side. It looks like it had been hit, and somebody maybe attempted to fix it, but it's not an area where you can access from behind it because of the way the brace goes down in behind the rear here. You can see this here. We've got a major brace right here that holds all this and supports everything, but we've got all this damage here that needs to be fixed. The driver's side's got an area similar to that. It's not quite too bad, but it does have an area right here pretty low where it's hard to access because of that brace in there. Now, as I stated before, what I wanted to do, we were going to get rid of the bumper bracket slots. We're not going to be putting a rear bumper like that on the car. And I did want to kind of eliminate the lead seams. I wanted to either create a piece to patch over them and weld in so we can just completely eliminate lead and just maybe have a tiny bit of body filler there. But after seeing everything we got going on here, I've decided to go ahead and just remake a section of the lower panel. So what my plan is, I've already made a paper template of the area that I want to cut out. Now, once I cut out that major flat section there, we'll be able to access this rolled section here, and we can work on the dent over here. We can definitely be able to access that one. A couple other little places along through here we can access. But my plan is to go ahead and remake this piece as well. So we can just make a section to fill this whole area in. It'll eliminate the lead, and then on the other side, we'll probably have to make just a little piece to make everything join together and weld that up and eliminate the lead on that side as well. But by making the rear lower piece, what we'll end up doing is having a nice flush piece that'll take care of having to slot these. We won't have any rust holes, which we do have a couple going down the bottom and a couple up over that corner over there. It'll eliminate having to fix that. It'll give us access to inside the floor pan, so it'll be easier to fix the problems that are inside there and underneath. And then we'll just re-weld that piece, the new piece in, and keep on moving from there. So that's the goal for tonight. We're going to make that section. Now, I've already made a template of what I need to cut out of steel. I've already cut all that out. I've taken my radius gauge and made a few little notes on it. And so we're going to be working with the English wheel tonight and try to get that lower panel taken care of, so we'll be able to go ahead and cut the other part. So we'll be able to cut the other portion off and get in there and access and start repairing the actual damage that is there. Start making those pieces. We'll make those with the planching hammer later on, but for now I just want to get that lower pan rolled, so we're going to get to work in the English wheel. Alright, so after making the paper template, took a few notes down as far as what the radiuses were. So I've gone ahead and cut out the piece of metal. Got 18 gauge cold rolled steel. Got a few numbers on here where I was checking the radius as this panel rolls down towards the bottom of the car. You can see I've got a 12-inch radius, 8-inch radius, a 4. It's actually a little less than that. Pretty tight as you get down to the very bottom. And then of course we need a little bit of flat area to make our plug welds where this panel welds underneath to the floor pan. Now I've got those columns marked out like that because we're going to be doing something a little different than the English wheel. We're not going to be using a hard upper wheel. We're also not going to be using a rubber band. What I've actually done is put a polyurethane like caster wheel into the top. Works a little better than the rubber band. The rubber band doesn't come off, but what we're going to be doing is creating the shape one way, and then we're going to come back with a different setup, and we're going to make the shape go the other way to create that roll from side to side. But what we're going to do right now is what I'm talking about is the top to bottom roll. So let me get the English wheel pulled out and we'll go ahead and start working on that. All right, so what I've done here is I've replaced the steel upper wheel with a polyurethane caster wheel. So the main base of it is made of, the wheel itself is made of, it's a cast iron or cast some sort of piece. And then it has a polyurethane rubber wheel, molded to that. So it is basically just a 8-inch caster wheel. It's a little different on the axle. I did have to kind of do a little finagling to get it to sit correctly and to fit in here. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running the panel through with some specific dies. As you saw on the panel before, I had a 12-inch, 8-inch, 4-inch. So what we're going to be doing is using those lower wheel radiuses in order to roll that panel over. So right now we've got a 12-inch lower radius die on here. We're going to bring it up, put just a little bit of tension on this wheel, and we're going to start to work our panel through from end to end, just in that section where we want that 12-inch radius. And we're going to start to shape that panel from top to bottom, and that'll give us our curve as it rolls from top to bottom down. And then we're going to keep progressing with different wheels until we get that panel to roll out pretty good. We don't want to roll it all the way just yet. We just want to get the main shape put into the panel. All right, so as I said, we've got the 12-inch is going to be pretty much from here up. And what I am going to do is I'm going to work primarily the entire area with the 12-inch to go ahead and get a little more shape to it, because just trying to shape this little narrow section isn't going to give you a whole lot of read on it. So I'm going to bring it on up here. We can always create more. We can take it back out if we need, but I just want to kind of step it in. So we're going to go from the lowest radius or the lowest crown to more of a high crown as we get lower. One thing you'll notice, I am trying to stay pretty much parallel to my lines. We're not trying to roll the panel this way. This is only going to create our shape going this direction. You notice how we only have primarily roll just going in this direction. That's what we're looking for there. So a little bit more. All right, now that we've got that pretty close, we're going to switch up. We're going to move in to the 8-inch radius die, and we're just going to work below this area here. Start rolling that over. Now turn the fan on. Alright, so you can already tell as I'm working this panel, it has gotten much stiffer, especially when I get way out here. The panel doesn't droop anymore. It's because we've created quite a bit of shape to it. So let's check it out. Alright, time to switch up again. Alright, so now we got a 4-inch radius. We're going to start working this lower section. Alright, see how we're starting to curl up real good? Alright, so fitting it to the panel, you can kind of notice here where it doesn't radius quite as quick right through this section, which is also right where we have our 12-inch radius, where we stopped with the 12-inch radius. It appears to need more, so we're going to bring the 8-inch back into the wheel, and we're going to work our way up a little higher, maybe about 1.5 inches higher up through here, to start bringing this area around a little more before we switch into the next method. Alright, so we're back with the 8. Now, I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure either, just enough to be able to manipulate the panel over. I'm not trying to squeeze it super hard. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure, whether you're using a band on the wheel or whether you're using a hard polyurethane wheel like this. You can see I can still turn it pretty easy. It's not that much pressure on it, just some tension. Alright, so I've already switched over to the regular upper steel English wheel. We're running a 48-inch lower, so very, very low crown. It's the lowest crown thing I have. I wish I had something a little bigger. But now what we're going to be doing is we're going to work this panel back and forth just in these areas here, and we're going to work our way out because we want to bring that panel around. And what we'll probably end up doing is we might lose a little bit of the shape, but we can go back and put that form back in there. We'll just keep working back and forth until we get both curvatures the way we need to be, where we can go ahead and finish off the very bottom. Okay, you see that? Now we're rolling over. So we need to check it. Getting there. Ways to go. We're good. Let's take a peek. What we got here? As far as underneath, let's see here. Hopefully, sits pretty good. Sounds like it's sitting pretty good. The only thing it's lacking on is as you get to the end here, you see where it needs to taper more at the end than it did in the middle. And if you can see up in there, it's touching. It's not that deep in there. It's only about maybe 5-6 inches in. This side here is a little different. Needs a lot more, but you can see the light there. We are making progress. Also checking the outside here, we were not quite 48, which we're not sitting on 48, which is good. Now as it got to the outer edge though, it gets tighter, so you can see we've got more gap here than we do in the middle. So this is not rolled over as much, so this needs to curve over more. Same thing with this side. They both need to wrap around more. So we need to work more towards that outer quarter of each side. Alright, I switched up and I threw the band on real quick. It's the same as the wheel. I just want to make some some facets real quick. You can see the difference in this side and this side. Got way too much shape in it, so I'm going to work it back and forth here, see if I can't get a little bit of that shape to come out of it, which I think hopefully will help broaden it out a little bit. This is why I hate the pan, because it never stays on. I used to use an inner tube a long time ago. It's just a lawnmower inner tube. Cut it out of it. You know, imagine this is the inner tube is here, making a circle. You cut a length of it out. Always seems to stay on better. We are really close. see on the driver's side here, our shape is really close to what it needs to be. Passenger side, also really close to where it needs to be. Underneath, not sure if y'all can tell, but looks really good. It's got a few places here you can kind of see the waviness in this panel. Now we're going to have to roll this under anyway and do some shrinking to bring that curve in, so I'm not concerned with the way that edge looks. Now also up here you can tell where, even though I had that piece of paper fitting, you know, cut perfect, we have lost a little bit of that shape in that line. So we're going to do a little bit of quick trimming right here and see if we can flush it up right up to the edge, just to leave it that way. We're gonna probably trim it again later, but for now I'd like it to maybe sit right about the way this one does, or maybe a little bit tighter to that little edge that fold that body line there. All right, so at this point I'm pretty happy with the shape. I've got it to fit really well. Doesn't feel like I have any hollow spots, you know, since we're using the panel itself as kind of our puck. You know, everything seems to be touching real well, so I'm happy with what I have now. And we still have quite a bit of trimming to go on this top edge, but I can't continue until I get the rear fenders from the owner. I want to get the rear fenders so I can verify that when I flange the sides over and we tip those edges and do some work on those, I want to make sure that they fit the fender shape correctly. I'm not positive that what's already on here actually fits right. I've never seen it with it on there. So next time around, all we have to do is we'll roll the bottom edge under and get that taken care of. We'll have it trimmed out and ready to flange. We can go ahead and remove the original panel underneath here so that we can start taking care of this upper section. We'll make us a panel here to get rid of that lead seam, and then we'll make another panel here to get rid of the lead seam and fix that bad spot that's in it. Now for those of y'all that are curious on how long this took, it's 11 o'clock. I started working on the sheet metal at 8 o'clock, so just wheeling the metal, we've spent right about 3 hours getting to this point. I'd already done my little template and already cut the piece of metal out over the weekend, so that was already done. All we had to do was walk out here, turn cameras on, and start wheeling. So figured that's pretty good time. We've got a couple more hours to go to be completely done with it, but you know, that went a lot faster than I actually thought it would. Especially using that polyurethane wheel that I put in there, that helped a lot. You know, like I say, years ago I had a piece of inner tube that was cut that worked pretty well. It stayed on better than that orange thing that I got. You know, that orange thing, as you can see, gets kind of aggravating sometimes. If y'all know any better way to keep that thing on, something I haven't figured out, let me know, because I'd still like to be able to use it. It's a lot faster than swapping wheels. But as you can see, when I was working this panel, that polyurethane wheel in there, even though the shaft wasn't quite right, which I need to make a little correction or two on, and it'll fit a lot better. But even though it wasn't perfect, I was still able to get it to work. It worked very well. We rolled that main shape out really quick. Was being a little methodical just so I made sure I got it correct, since it's not all the same radius. But it worked fantastic. So I'm going to end it right here. I'm happy with it. Like I say, I can't go any further. So as usual, hopefully you learned a little something. If you did, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and tap that bell. And I'll catch you on the next one.